leads to another. If your mind is in the right place, usually your body isn't going to be in the right place. Something that is very difficult to do when you do it the opposite ways. Many times we're not really there mentally. We have a lot of things in our heads, and we can still be hitting the ball pretty well, but it's difficult to do it consistently. So having the mind in the right place, of course, that comes first. If you wanna have the sustainability, the reliability, and the consistency. When people talk about being tough mentally, to me, I like to call it endurance. You have to be you gotta be. I mean, it can be tenacity or perseverance. I like to call it endurance because it's something that you have to do repeatedly. To me, the key to being really good at something and becoming really good at anything is being consistent. And how do you create? The only way you can create endurance is being consistent. You not create endurance doing something well only once or twice. You have to do it over and over and over, and that's how you create it. You are a good driver. Why? Because you've been driving day after day after day after day for how many years? Okay. The difficult part about doing something that you don't want, or that sometimes you want but it requires a pretty good effort, is the difficult part is what happens before convincing your mind that you have to do it, that you want to do it. Okay. That's you gotta create that endurance before you go to the gym, before you go to play, when you know you're gonna do something, you have to do something. The endurance, the pre-action endurance, that's the most difficult one. Convincing or forcing or just making yourself. You don't want to get to the point that you make yourself do it. You gotta get to the point that you say, you know what, my mindset has been shaped to the point that I just like to do this. I look forward. It's a challenge, and when you push yourself to do it over and over and over, one of the first things that you're gonna notice is that as you do it consistently, what was a challenge becomes something that you look forward, because there is, that initial push to go to do it. It's like, oh my God, I gotta do that. But once you start doing it, there is kind of a rush, like, okay, here I go. Against all odds and against everything that has been working in my mind and my body saying I'm tired, or probably my wrist is hurting a little bit and you shouldn't be playing, or whatever it is, but you're going. So that pre-action endurance is the one that is the most difficult one, and you got to find the way. Whether it's creating you gotta create a mental pictures in your mind where what's gonna happen if you do it, or what's gonna happen if you don't do it. So if you see the result in your mind, it's much easier to convince your body and your mind to do it. You want to create. You want to have mental pictures. You can create a mini movie in your mind where you see yourself. Okay, you know what? I like it when I get there, and it feels good when I'm running. And when I'm hitting that ball, and when I'm pushing myself. I mean, it's you have to create in your mind. If you're the kind of person that is against the mental games and things like meditation and yoga and visualization and mental imagery, and all those kind of things, you are swimming. You are going totally against what the best thing is what is pretty much the most important tool that is gonna take you where you want to go. It's in your head. It's in your mind. And when you feel it in your body, the only way you're gonna make your body change, it's gotta start up here. It's gotta start in your mind. So if you're not the kind of person that if when you start listening to stuff like, okay, you know what, mental tools like visualization or yoga, stuff like that, and you kind of roll your eyes, then you know what, don't do it if you don't want to. But it's totally going against yourself. I mean, you surely don't have the slightest idea of how much that can help you. And it's very easy to start doing it. You say you want to give it a try. Just give it a try if you want to. Go to bed at night, spend 5 or 10 minutes visualizing. If you're missing the forehand, visualize me hitting that forehand, and believe me, you're gonna start seeing results. But you gotta create a very vivid emotion, a very vivid image in your head, because the images, they have to be mixed with emotions. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So the pre-action endurance, that's the first thing, that the most difficult one, but you gotta push the transcend beyond that one. The next one is a physical. And physical has preparation response. Okay? Preparation response, obviously that relates to training, to being ready before. You're not gonna have physical endurance if you don't prepare, if you don't train, if you don't practice. When you start measuring your effort, your game starts, it's just start decreasing, starts coming down. It's not you're not as good as you were when you started. That is the main, I would say that is the main goal of both the sustainability, being in shape, and the sustainability of hitting the ball well, is that you want your body to get used to, I'm not measuring efforts. I don't want to be like, okay, I'm going to put 90% on this one and I'm going to put 70% here. No, I mean, that's how you keep that sustainability. So don't measure the effort. Just get used in your head to say the way I start, the way I finish. Sometimes it's difficult to keep the sustainability because the match is really long and very demanding physically and mentally, but you want to try to at least to keep it like that. Okay. Mental endurance. We already talked the physical. So you want to pay attention to moving well, and you want to pay attention that if you move well, that's the first thing you want to do. Move well, get there on time, be in shape. And when you do that, you're going to get to the ball and you're going to put it where you want it. You want to do whatever you want to. You're going to manipulate and control it. Now, mentally, you want to be accurate and sustainable. Now, you keep this sustainability and the intensity, but the thing is, sometimes where you're failing mentally is with your game plan. You're probably not trusting your game plan, okay? Or your bold response to whatever is happening. You're kind of weak. Oh my God, this guy's really good. There goes a weak response. Instead, come on, let's raise the bar. The guy's good. Well, let's raise the bar. If he's playing well, whatever. You gotta keep the bold response. Adaptability. This guy used to suck. His forehand used to suck, or his backhand, and now practicing, he's really good. Well, you got to adapt to that. Okay. Panic treatment. When you're freaking out, well, are you just freaking out and losing it, or are you able to calm down and say, okay, settle down, keep on your breathing, and and this is what we're gonna do. You just calm down and you have a better idea what you want to do. Belief. You start missing, so your belief is not the same. You gotta work on that. You gotta have that belief and say, okay, well, you know what? If I'm not in a good day, so I'm not able to hit the ball as hard as I usually do, well, just go down, slow it down, and go to the level where you get the consistency, and then you start looking. If this is not working, I have to look for something else in my arsenal that is going to help me. It could be just being calm and playing longer punch with the guy, hitting or being more consistency, or hitting more slices, or moving the ball around a little more, going for angles, banana shots, drop shots, high balls. I mean, you gotta move your game around the game plan. It's like chess. You gotta look different. You gotta try different stuff, and you're focused. That's one of the first things that we lose when things go wrong. The focus, because we start focusing on the negative things. So you really want to pay attention. Stay on the same on the thing that you started from point one. You want to stay on that. And many times you have to be. One thing that I want to mention, guys, is super important, is your self-awareness, being mindful of where your head is going, what's going on. You gotta step out of your body and say, okay, what's going on? Something is wrong. You got to be mindful of yourself. You got to be able to step out of your body and analyze and say, okay, this is what's going on. And you got to do it do it all the time. You got to pay attention to that. You got to be, how many times you go and play a match and you lose, and your friends that were on the bleachers, they were like, dude, why you keep hitting that ball to this guy's backhand, to this guy's forehand? Well, because that's his backhand. No, this guy was a lefty. How come you never noticed that? See? It has happened to all of us that the guys outside the court, they notice things that we don't. So you got to be able to be the guy on the bleachers and say, okay, this is what's going on. But you only do that being mindful of what you're doing. Okay? All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry it went a little longer than I wanted. I hope it helps. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Just go out there, ball, center, be perseverant, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.